morning. Hope you're having a great start to your Tuesday. Welcome into the Real Monica Adams Show. Thrilled to have you with us on another gorgeous fall day. A little chillier from yesterday, but it's actually going to warm up a little bit more. So some of you are in the 40s. In fact, I heard some in the 30s, but that's pretty far away from our St. Louis area. Welcome aboard. Do me a favor as you tune in, whether you're on Facebook or YouTube or X, let us know where you're watching from. I really love to know if we've met in person, if someone guided you to this show of hope and positivity and just shining incredible spotlights on organizations and wonderful people. Did we meet in an airport? Did I meet you in another country? This show keeps growing and growing, and it really has us shift around how we've been doing things as we get that local, regional, and national audience. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts for sharing this show. So again, no matter what platform you're on, share that with your followers so it continues to grow, and then let us know if there's a platform that you would like for us to be on. By the way, on Thursdays, we do have an audio podcast that we drop. That's at 8 o'clock in the morning, and that's usually one of these really wonderful shows that we love from the week. Not that we don't love every show, but we've got to find one of them that we want to put as our audio podcast. So the platforms on the visual side keep growing, and then all of the audio platforms are for you on Thursday. We've got some news you can use. I'm going to break it up a little bit today where we do our trending, entertainment, and sports news. I'm going to bring Michelle in to talk about this a little bit, and you're going to start seeing more of my staff interacting with me on some of those lighthearted stories. And then what a great organization we have to feature today, Dogs for Our Brave. Brian Pichel will be my guest, and he'll be coming in about 15 minutes as we honor our veterans, heal them. It's really the healing that takes place through those animals. Incredible. Can't wait for that, and a big event actually coming up where you can enjoy some great food, some drinks, and honor our veterans and those wonderful animals that are helping to heal them. All of that coming up on our show. Let's kick things off, though, with weather as we get into our local weather, and then we'll be talking about Hurricane Milton. Look at that, 74 and sunshine today, down to 50 tonight. For tomorrow, we hit midweek and we get up to 80 degrees. I'm telling you, I wish I still had the pool open, but it's those lows that would make the pool cold, unfortunately. 53 for a low tomorrow night. Now, Thursday, 82 for the high. But look there's literally no clouds in the forecast until we get into Saturday. Friday, 85 for the high, and that is when Yom Kippur kicks off. 86 on Saturday, 77, so it does get a little cooler on Sunday, but still a beautiful weekend to do some outside work, outside events, maybe go out to a winery, enjoy some time, some festivals. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of next week, it starts to dip down into the upper 60s, but then back into the mid-70s by next Wednesday and Thursday. So this stretch we have, when we have our aspiring meteorologist Beckett Moore back with us on Friday. We'll have to ask him, when in the world is rain ever coming back for our area? Look at the lows, by the way, as you go into Sunday night and into next week. We will be into the upper 40s, so cold for sure. Now, all of us talking about Hurricane Milton. This is devastating. And in fact, a longtime tenured meteorologist in Florida broke down in tears. I don't know if you've seen this, but it went viral as it just really had him overcome with emotion after just healing from the last hurricane, just in the last couple of weeks, Hurricane Helene. They're still picking up from all of that damage. And now this one, they're calling the hurricane of the century. As we talk about this, I'm hoping that all of you, if you have friends or family in the Tampa area, in Florida, that you are checking in on them. A lot of people marking themselves safe now, but this isn't expected to hit until tomorrow night and into Thursday. Near Tampa, with the top storm surge values forecast to 10 to 15 feet, folks. That is 2 to 7 feet higher than Helene, which set all-time records in Tampa Bay. The hurricane this time has the potential to be one of the most destructive hurricanes in Florida history. It is the strongest hurricane in the Gulf since Rita, which, if you remember, that was back in 2005. So yes, all signs point to the hurricane weakening some before landfall, but we're talking about 180 to 190 mile per hour winds. It was Hurricane 5 downgraded to Hurricane 4. It's going to strengthen again and then it continues to break down. So you can see that people are rushing to the stores, trying to get everything they can. There are temporary, there are mandatory evacuations that are taking place. There were miles and miles of cars that were trying to get out of the area. Everybody coming together, trying to help. But this is one that we will be talking about for the next several days. Again, interior sections experiencing wind gusts of 60 to 100 plus miles per hour as the center crosses the peninsula Wednesday night. And this includes Orlando and neighboring communities. So some of the new information yesterday with the update were storm surge watches for the eastern coast of Florida up into Georgia and South Carolina. The onshore flow north of the center could be strong enough to cause coastal flooding of 3 to 5 feet above tidal norms. So again, we will continue to follow this, go into tomorrow's news, and then obviously a lot to talk about as we get into Thursday morning. It is 7:07. Other news that is affecting our area, and we do the news you can use, not just here, but really it does affect more outside of our area as well. That's the news you can use that we're going to continue to talk about. Let's talk about something that happened that affected a firefighter early this morning in the Shrewsbury area, and the investigation continuing. The St. Louis Regional Bomb and Arson Unit will be investigating. It's a student apartment fire that took place. It happened at the Rivercrest apartment complex on Murdoch right before 1 o'clock this morning. And according to authorities, they said people were hanging out of the windows. About 10 different units that were affected by this. The fire started in the basement. 2 people were rescued on the second floor. They were treated and released on the scene. But during the rescue efforts, there was a firefighter that was injured and transported to the hospital with serious injuries. Officials say that 10 of the units are uninhabitable. Many of these units were from students that went to Webster and St. Louis University. So as we get more information on that, we will pass that along. Well, American Water may be notifying you, maybe did already, notifying customers of a data breach. And just how far did this one go? The company said it learned of the incident back on October 3rd. Once it learned of the cybersecurity incident, activated response protocols, contacted third-party cybersecurity experts to assist. They also said law enforcement was notified. To protect customer information, American Water has disconnected certain systems. Customers will not be charged late fees while those symptoms are unavailable. You know, we talked about this first with St. Charles County, then St. Louis County, tax freeze applications, and wow, they've already hit 10,000 applicants. That doesn't mean that it's over. You still have time. In fact, this goes all the way into June of next year. More than 9,200 of those applications submitted just in the first week. They've been completed through the county's quick and convenient online application portal. The deadline, again, will be June 30th of 2025. All right, is this the Krusty Krab? No, it's a Krabby Patty, and we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about a very interesting topic. I don't know if I don't want to do this alone. How about we bring Michelle in for this one? We're going to talk about Dewey's and what they're putting on their pizza. It's not a first time. It actually happened before. It was supposed to be just a one-time thing, but it took so well that they're bringing it back. We're going to talk about Keanu Reeves behind the wheel of a race car. Yep. And oh, Anne Hathaway, thank you so much for telling us this is going to happen. There is another installment of a movie that I know all of you love that's going to happen. And then an afternoon blues game to kick off the season. All of that coming up for you as we do our trending news, entertainment news, and sports when we return.
I'm excited to announce my all-new mattress topper. In the times we're in, I wanted to bring you the best affordable mattress topper ever. So I took my 2 best technologies and combined them to make the ultimate mattress topper. And now you can get it for as low as $69.98. Queen size only $99.98. It all starts with my famous MyPillow foam that provides you that overall full body support. Second is the individual comfort supports that give you an amazing custom sleep experience. It's like it's made specifically for you. The queen size alone has over 14,000 comfort supports. This is the perfect mattress topper to improve any bed. New bed, old bed, your guest beds. Get them for every bedroom in your house. Go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get the all-new My Mattress Topper for as low as $69.98. Queen size only $99.98. Don't delay, order today.
Welcome back. It is 7:11. Thrilled to have you along with us. Good morning to all of you that are saying good morning. Let me know if there's anything you have questions on with regards to the news we just did. Sean, Julie, Hannah, Dogs for Our Brave is here. Julie Purcell, Hannah Ledford. We've got Kathleen Morris on and many others. As you sign on, feel free to let me know where you're watching from. So I did the beginning of our news you can use, but now this is the fun stuff, and I'm going to do this a little bit more. I'd like for you to see my team. If you came to Friday's big 400th celebration, you had a chance to meet a lot of our team members, but I also want you to see them on our show. So you know her, you love her. Michelle Harmon, my dear friend, is here with us. So I wanted to bring you in and talk about some of these because this is how we used to do it in TV. We would get into our trending news stories and we'd be like, what do you think about this? So I know your son was a fan of SpongeBob, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And a lot of your kids might be as well. So they might enjoy this. Wendy's is bringing the Krabby Patty to real life. And it's hitting restaurants this week. The company announced it's partnering with Paramount to celebrate, can you believe this, the 25th anniversary of SpongeBob SquarePants. They are launching the Krabby Patty collab, which will feature 2 menu items that will be available at Wendy's for a limited time, folks. Okay, so here you go. You can see it on the screen. Pineapple Under the Sea Frosty.
Ooh.
That's a vanilla Frosty with a pineapple mango flavored puree swirl.
Okay.
First of its kind Frosty flavor innovation. And then the Krabby Patty collab burger. The restaurant's take on the famous cartoon burger. Do you know what it features? A 1/4 pound of beef, 2 slices of melty American cheese, lettuce, tomato, pickle, onion, and a top secret Krabby collab sauce on a toasted bun. Sounds like McDonald's to me.
But shouldn't a Krabby Patty have crab?
Yes. That's what I don't understand, because I did not watch SpongeBob, but whenever I would hear about Krabby Patty, I thought that's a crab, right?
Right. But then,
So why
but
isn't
then
there a
there's
crab
like,
on
then
it?
there's like cannibalism going on down in SpongeBob.
They're eating each other.
That's because the guy that ran the place, he was a crab.
There were a lot of things about SpongeBob
It was
that is questionable.
So weird. So weird. But yes, I would think that Wendy's would do a crab variation or at least a fish variation.
If not,
of
I
it.
thought, they will pile on things on a burger, but I thought maybe it was going to be a burger and put a little Krabby Patty on top. I don't understand, folks. You missed it there, Wendy's.
And then the French fry dipping. People do the French fry dip in the
and their Frosties.
in the Frosties, but I don't know if that would be good with the pineapple mango French fry dip.
Try
with
it.
Pineapple.
Let us know, by the way. Will you go get this for your kids? Will you go get it for yourself? Okay, how about this one? Now, I heard this split today on the morning show on KMOV. I actually think this sounds good. So Dewey's, have you been to Dewey's Pizza, by the way?
Love
Their
Dewey's.
pizza is phenomenal. So move over, pumpkin spice lattes. There's a pumpkin pizza making in the return. The smashing pumpkin pizza from Dewey's. It was a seasonal pie. It features a house-made whipped pumpkin ricotta base, topped with mozzarella, crumbled Italian sausage, roasted shallots, and toasted pumpkin seeds. The memory of the sweet, salty flavor combo is enough to make you wish for a 60-degree blue sky fall day, warm slice in hand, a 50 maybe degree day, 60, 70, whatever you want. You go outside, and then you have this, and it just puts you in that fall feel. Again, Dewey's, they had it before, and they brought it back. I think it sounds great.
That sounds good.
And
I might have a little bacon sprinkled on there too.
Yep, whatever you'd like. But you tell me. I'm going to look at your comments. Okay, Kathy says I was thinking crab instead of beef. Yep, good morning, good morning. Julie says hi. Pumpkin on pizza does not sound very good, Richard says. That's like a crab patty that doesn't have crab in it. I don't know. I'm not all into this pumpkin spice, everything. I don't drink coffee, you all know. But I think this sounds good. I like this sprinkled with the sausage and the pumpkin seeds. I think it sounds good. You let us know. You weigh in on it.
It's kind of a sweet and savory.
Exactly.
I could get on board with that.
I agree. Now, what would you pair with that? What would you like to have to drink with that? I'm feeling a beer.
Yeah.
And I don't
was
drink
gonna
beer,
say
but
not
I'm
wine.
really no.
Yeah, definitely not wine.
I'm
but
feeling-
I would say beer.
I'm feeling a beer, but I think if it's a pumpkin beer, there's way too much going on there.
No.
So you tell us what you would like to have with that. Let us know. Keep weighing in. All right, are you going to shop today?
I don't think so.
You don't get into this?
Well, because I leave town tomorrow.
Or, well, a lot of you might be. Actually, this is what we normally talk about in July. They're actually including this to really kick off to see how the holiday shopping season is going to go. So you're going to have 2 days. Amazon Prime Big Deal Days taking place today and tomorrow. And as I said, this is a really big kickoff. So some of the biggest deals you can grab right now that I was looking at this morning include gear from Apple, Samsung. Is it Anker? Anker, Anker, okay. Lego, and some others. This is when, in July, we say that nobody is working. And so when you see them on their computer and they close the computer right away, it's because they're shopping.
They're shopping.
So Amazon big deal days.
I don't want to get busted. See, that's the problem.
By your boss?
No. Oh. By my husband when all the boxes arrive when I'm gone.
And he's not the boss. You're the boss. All right. Well, again,
like, what did you do?
Yeah. All that's right. All of those would be showing up. Carol Sheehan, morning. I'll stick with my go-to Dewey sausage and green pepper. Carol, where are you watching from? Do you recognize that name? I don't recognize that name. Carol, where are you watching from? And are you new? Stephanie said she would try it. All right. Okay. Anne Hathaway. Thank you for this, by the way. I'm a big fan of this movie. Are you ready for it? She did this on social media today and just showed 3. It's happening. Anne Hathaway confirming Princess Diaries 3 is officially happening. Oh, yes. Yay. She counted to 3 with videos of her as Mia and Julie Andrews as the Queen. And both of them saying, shut up. The Princess Diaries film debuted, get this, in 2001.
Oh, my goodness.
Princess Diaries 2, Royal Engagement, 2004. So it's been 20 years, folks. However, there's no word yet on who from the original cast will return for the 3rd film. Did you like this one?
I did.
Yeah.
I did. I love Julie Andrews.
I love Julie Andrews, and I love Anne Hathaway.
Amazing.
Which, by the way, Jim was so sweet the other night. He was like, all right, I'm going to bed, but here, this is just for you. Here's your favorite movie. Devil Wears Prada.
Oh, yes.
Come on, Anne. She's so good in that.
Oh, fantastic.
And movie. I want the hairstyle, by the way, of Meryl Streep.
Oh, she's...
In that,
yes.
It's just absolutely stunning. Okay, how about this?
She's
Guess who's
awesome.
behind the wheel, at Indianapolis Motor Speedway? Look at this guy on your screen. Yes! Keanu Reeves. Hollywood star Keanu Reeves made his professional auto racing debut on Saturday in an event in which the Matrix stars spun out at a famed Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Reeves spun into the grass without a collision on the exit of Turn 9, a little more than halfway through the 45-minute race. He re-entered and continued driving, signaling that he was uninjured. He actually qualified 31st out of the 35 cars, ran as high as 21st, successfully avoided a first-lap crash in Turn 14. He finished 25th. That's not bad. He's turning 60, by the way, competing at Indianapolis in the Toyota GR Cup, which is a Toyota spec racing series and a support series for this weekend's Indy 8-hour sports car event. I was hoping he was going to be at the Indy 500 because, my husband goes. Yeah. So he's actually scheduled to attend a 30th anniversary screening of Speed on Tuesday in L.A. alongside his co-star, somebody else I absolutely love, Sandra Bullock.
Sandra Bullock.
Yeah, how cool is that? All right, and before we wrap up
great.
and start our segment of the day, which stay tuned for, we have Brian Pichelle in from Dogs for Our Brave. 1:30 puck drop, really, folks, in Seattle. 3:30 watching here. It's not at Enterprise Center. It's in Seattle, but the Blues will be back next week for their home opener. The Kraken
What
and
day?
our Blues. Today, as far as the season opener?
Yeah.
I'd have to look into that. But today is the home opener. The season opener is today. At 1:30 in Seattle. But 2 things going on there. The team was like, I don't recall a 1:30 puck drop, and I don't recall opening the season on a Tuesday, but that's happening.
Why?
I think a lot of it has to do, as you always know, with TV time. It's an ESPN full audience, full family audience. So 3:30 here, kids will be coming home from school if they're big hockey fans. And a lot of times the kids aren't able to stay up to watch this.
True.
You think about the games on the West Coast that start at 9:30.
Right.
I actually kind of like this.
Right.
I'll be working and having it on, multitasking as I do, and being like, oh, sweet. So Tuesday.
Parents are going to be cutting out of work early.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see.
I got to leave.
I don't
I'm not
feel
feeling
good.
well.
It'll be interesting to see, though, how much more revenue people bring in at the bars, right? So that's that early happy hour crowd.
Yeah, that's
That'll
true.
be coming even earlier to get their seats. So,
That is true.
yeah, I think a lot of you, because you don't see a lot on a Tuesday.
Right.
You get midweek, Wednesday, Thursday.
Like Seattle, I can't imagine the stands are going to be full at 1:30.
We'll see. It'll be interesting. So, yeah. Anyway, so this is what we want to do. Just kind of interact a little bit more. Interact with you, dropping any comments that you want in as we do that. Watching from Eureka. Well, Carol, thank you for that. Just send the packages to Monica's house. Then Mike wouldn't know. That's a good idea. Oh, good one, Julie.
Good idea.
All right. We're going to talk about dogs and how they heal our veterans. This is such a great organization and a really cool event that's coming up. Sip and Savor, their annual auction, how you can get to that. Brian Pichelle will be our guest, and we'll switcheroo.
I'm looking
He'll
forward
be in
to
the
that
blue
event.
chair when we return. This is my wonderful role model, one of my best friends.
She said, oh my gosh, you got a long life. You could probably live to be 130 or something. And I said, oh God, I hope not.
It's getting hot in here. Don't take off all your clothes.
I'm not going to take off my clothes. On the radio tape, going to
Kansas City, Kansas City, here I come.
We're gonna spank. We're gonna speak. We're not gonna spank anybody. We're gonna speak about knowing your value, and then I'm gonna.
I'm going to spank them.
If you don't know your value and you don't grab hold of how important you are, I'm gonna spank you.
Folks, you never know what you're going to get with her. What a very powerful organization. We're going to see more videos like that. We're going to talk about this wonderful organization, Dogs for Our Brave. And, you know, we were just talking during that video, we've all heard, in fact, you probably have done push-ups in the past for our veterans to honor and spread all across social media. I'm doing these every day because that's the amount of people who take their lives that were on the battlefields, our veterans. And we are trying to save their lives. You just saw that, but my guest, Brian Pichelle from Dogs for Our Brave, said that number is actually higher. That's not something we want to hear. I just got a chill when I said that. Brian, welcome to the show. Thank you for coming in.
Thanks, Monica.
And you
Thanks
look
for having
fabulous,
me.
by the way. I'm very into fashion, so I love what you're wearing. You know, it's
Thank
funny,
you.
guys, that thought, really, a blazer with a hoodie? It became a thing, and when I do a lot of custom work, we actually design a lot of this, that they're in it, and you can just kind of unzip, and then you have your blazer all over again without the hoodie.
You know,
but you did it yourself.
It's it's casual, but I'm here with
higher
here
level
with purpose, right?
I'm here
While
with a
still
purpose.
sporting, all my Dogs for Our Brave gear at the same time.
And you can't see him, but he's got his boots on too. There we go. Look, you even have.
It's
Okay,
fall.
we've got to show this if you can't. We both have red on the bottom of our shoe.
Oh, well, that's
Look at that. You're so fancy.
We're in sync today.
Yeah,
Look at us. Look at
my
us
whole
go.
team is actually like, we keep talking about how we're all dressing alike. Well, thank you again. Just kind of starting off a little lighthearted. Let's talk about this. And Shane Mayer, by the way, who we absolutely love, and you and I saw each other at the Cigar Vault, and we started talking about bringing you on. Shane said, Dogs for Our Brave and Brian, the landing hub and the Cigar Vault's BFF. Then he said, and yes, I've already got my Sip and Savor tickets, which we'll talk about in just a second. Let's address this. You just watched that video and said the number is actually much higher than 22. What is it now?
just having conversations within the industry with other, especially with other organizations that are really tracking that type of data. There's some out there that say it's close to 30. It's, I think it's a hard number to peg down. We know it's a epidemic, if you will. I mean, it's terrifying. The number of veterans that are taking their life on a daily basis and have been for way too long. And I believe that's why you see a lot of veterans now that are getting involved, whether starting their own organizations or getting involved in other organizations to try and make a difference. We talk a lot about, no man left behind. You can throw any other, phrase you want out there. The bottom line is we obviously are so connected within the veteran community, and especially what we went through over the 20 plus years of combat operations between Iraq and Afghanistan. It's very hard to see how many have come home and have lost that battle at home.
Absolutely. If you're just tuning in, Brian Pichelle, again, the organization we're going to talk about, where the animals are helping to heal our veterans, our true heroes. And you think about what they do, what they did that others do not or did not. They come back, and you would hope that, we can go all the way back and look at the Vietnam War, those veterans coming back, our true heroes. They were not treated that way. Think about what you did to them. And I am saying you, right? If you were one of them, or your parents or your grandparents didn't honor them when they came back, Well, you would have to put yourself in the place of saying that led to them taking their lives. And I know that's harsh to say, but it's true. It's also the fact that now they come back, and where are we to help them heal? It's things that they've seen that we will never understand, and that's what's hard for them to transition. And we're seeing this now, Brian, saying 30 a day, folks, 30 a day taking their lives. So let's talk about the organization that you're with and how these animals are actually truly helping them heal instead of them feeling isolated and alone, what that's doing where the animals are saving their lives.
Before I dive into that, I just need to go back to the Vietnam era veterans.
Absolutely.
I will take that opportunity every single time to shake their hand and thank them.
Amen.
And welcome them home.
Yes.
Anytime I see one, because those men paved the way for a lot of the incredible care that we receive now. There's still a lot of work that needs to be done, but the way that they were treated, I think there are enough people in this country that said never again. We're never going to allow our veterans to be treated like that again when they come home. So to all of our Vietnam veterans out there, thank you all.
Brian, 100%. And the tears are real, folks, because it's unfathomable to think that that's how they were treated. It blows my mind. I don't understand it, and I am right there with you. You cannot. It's incomprehensible. And maybe this is where we change your life. Maybe from here forward, you understand that this is what you say to your children. This is what you say to your grandchildren. When you see anyone in uniform, I don't care if it is whether they were in military or they were a first responder, you start treating them with respect because they do the things that we can't even imagine. What they have seen is what we're trying to save their life from. So thank you for saying that. And 100%, I am in perfect agreement with you. When I'm in an airport getting ready to fly somewhere, I see them in uniform, I will literally stop my conversation to say, thank you for what you do. And it's almost as if it's like a shock to them of, oh, you're welcome. Like, it's no big deal. Yes, it is. It's like the biggest deal in the world. Yes, it is.
We don't handle that type of thanks and praise well.
Why is that, by the way, Brian?
Because we believe wholeheartedly in what we're doing. I think any of us that sign that contract and understand what that truly means. And again, whether that's military based or first responder, when you have that flag on your shoulder, I believe the overwhelming majority of the people that wear those uniforms believe to their core in the goodness of what our country can be and should be. So when people thank us for our service, it's hard because we believe we're just doing something that just comes natural as far as wanting to serve the greater good. And maybe that comes off as naive, but it's not. We understand what the responsibility is and what the potential risk is there. And it's very, very real. So I think it's just,
I love the humble.
It's
They're so
something that, they're hard words to hear sometimes. And it's, you talk to ask a lot of veterans. Some of them struggle when people thank them for their service.
I've seen that.
And my response is I'd do it all over again, despite all the challenges that came with it. I'd do it again.
You served from what to what?
I was a medic in the Army from 04 to 09.
04 to 09, where were you?
I deployed to Baghdad from 05 to 06. Served with 5th Engineers out of Fort Leonard Wood, ironically.
Wow.
Ended up being stationed 2 hours from home. So I mean, I as a medic, I saw plenty while I was over there.
Thank you.
Thank you
for your service, I'm going to say.
Still be sitting here today, honestly,
Absolutely.
because I got very, very lucky on several occasions, and really, I'm very fortunate to be sitting here, which ultimately comes full circle to
the organization,
what I'm doing now.
Yes.
So
when did you start with Dogs for Our Brave?
So I've been with Dogs for Our Brave for a little over a year now. I started in July of 2023. I almost said 2005. You took me all the way back to my deployment days. So I started in July of 2023. What an incredible journey so far. Just to be back working with an organization that is ultimately out to change the lives of our veterans in such a positive way.
And we're going to talk about how they're doing that. Again, we welcome your questions and your comments. Richard said, thank you for your service, Brian. He's the Director of Veteran Services. Alex Pichelle? Who's Alex?
It's my wife.
Your wife? She's giving you a bunch of hearts. She's here for you.
Thanks,
Sam
Dad.
says, Brian, you're a great man and a great coach. Sam Reynolds.
Thanks, Sam.
And yes, as I mentioned before, you had just said how hard it is to take the thank you, but it really is. And I always see the way you just did it, that it's always that humble response of, You're welcome. And like the eyes down, and we, as you said, we would do it again and again and again. Even with, as you just mentioned, you're lucky to be alive here. You sit there and hear so many of those stories. To take the tears away, to take some of the horrific things that you've seen and experienced away, I don't know that a human can do that. A lot of times it is that bond that has to take place with that four-legged animal that is truly, they say, you flip the letters around, right? Turn it around.
What's dog spelled backwards?
God.
God.
And I believe that they are our little angels here that are living on earth. We've got a comment. Let's see. Oh, Bridget. That's my little brother.
That's my sister.
Your whole family is
Yes.
watching. I love it.
So if that's
Hello,
my whole
fam.
family, that's a lot of people.
Let's keep the numbers going
I
up.
have a large St. Louis
Brian's-
family, so
Yeah, let's do it.
yeah.
Keep sharing, folks. Let's talk about, so the organization launched how long ago?
So we launched in 2014. Andy and Marilyn Gladstein are founders, based out of Coronado, California.
Okay.
The short version of it was Andy was looking for a just really different 36th wedding anniversary. I believe it was the 36th wedding anniversary gift for Marilyn. He had befriended the Navy SEAL commandant out there, and through conversations, it was suggested that he buy a dog, have it professionally trained, and then provide it to a injured serviceman coming home from either Iraq or Afghanistan. He did that through a lot of research. Presented it to Marilyn. Huge surprise. All of his friends decided, well, how can we do this? And he and Marilyn looked at each other and said, I think we just found an organization that we're going to start. So 2018, ended up moving base of operations here to St. Louis, and purchased our facility that we're currently in Dogtown, so right down the road. And we've pretty much tapped that out at this point. Yep, there's our current location. But it's been a roller coaster. The fact that we've been around for 10 years. The service dog industry for veterans is still very much a new industry, like within the last 20 years. So there's a lot of research going on out there. And I know we're going to get into this, as we go through this conversation today, but my first year on staff, obviously, being a medic, I understood that this was an opportunity, or a former medic. My opportunity was to get back in the fight and take care of my guys, right? But how do we do that? How do I do that? Understanding through the resource of a service dog. I have 3 dogs at home. Love animals dearly. Like, they absolutely have been a huge part of my healing process and my healing journey. So I understood that was very, 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 very real. But my role in this, and how I impact the veterans through the organization, it's been a huge learning curve. I mean, most days, as I've said quite a few times to our staff, I feel like I'm learning while drinking through a fire hose. It is just so much information, and we have, our director of training, Bridget McCauley, has done an unbelievable job since she's taken over, and revamping the curriculum and really diving into a mind, body, spirit, holistic relationship approach with how she trains our dogs, and then how I carry that over into our veterans, and our approach with how we're providing that opportunity to heal for our veterans. It's so much more than just providing a service dog, right? That resource that we provide is ultimately a bridge for us to enter into the veterans' lives and find ways to help them heal in mind, body, spirit, relationship in a holistic way, to find the best version of themselves again and get back out and make a positive impact, within their own home, within their community, however big that wants to be. Our veterans, especially our veterans that have served in times of combat, have incredible perspective and amazing strength and amazing leadership skills that are so desperately needed right now. And that's why the 22 a day, the 30 a day, it doesn't matter what it is. Every time we lose one, we lose somebody that has that perspective and that experience to make a positive change in this country. And we need to embrace them and help them turn that around.
Amen to that. And I love the fact that you said the bridge, because coming back from the battlefields and trying to get back into civilian life, that is the bridge that needs to take place. And these animals are doing just that. Before we take a break, hugs to you, Brian, our son. Jerry
Hi, Mom and
says, hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. Thank you for your service, Luann says. Again, Bridget said, that's my little brother. And a servant leader, selfless man, and someone who is saving 2 lives at once, day after day. Proud to know you and walk this journey together. That's from Sarah Gladstein.
So that is the daughter. She's one of our board members. That's the daughter of Andy and Marilyn. Their support has been tremendous, and we're thankful for the Gladsteins and everything they've done to create this organization.
I love all of you that are watching, and welcome to the show, by the way, because this is what we do every day. You literally took the words that I say on a daily basis of what can we do to change the world? What can we do to heal the world? Mind, body, soul. We need all of that to be a complete human being, but so many people feel broken in this world. But this is how you can help. We're talking with Brian Pichelle, again, Director of Veteran Services from Dogs for Our Brave. We'll talk about how these dogs are chosen, how they're trained, so much more to come. And if you have any questions about the organization or how you can help out, there's an event coming up that we're going to talk about that you can buy tickets to. All of that coming up when we return.
Discover your full potential with a personalized styling experience. Designing, customizing, and transforming the looks of men and women. Revamp your individual style and embrace what makes you, you. That's real confidence.
So we're going to visit with Jennifer Warman Bloss tomorrow. She's the owner of this beautiful place you're seeing. All of these beds have healing properties waiting for you. Maybe it's on the outside to your skin, facials. Maybe you're thinking of doing an IPL? IPL. See, you can tell I don't do these peels and things, but I'm going to check some things out. The great thing is Jennifer will have you come in. She doesn't want you to say, I need this, I need that. She'll let you know. She wants to, as she said, kind of like I do with fashion. Let's get in, let's touch the fabric, right? She wants to touch the fabric of your face and say, this is what you need. I can't wait for that room. That's a healing room right there when we're talking about salt therapy. Also the red light therapy and the way it's helping the mind, the body, the soul. I love what she's providing to the world, and we'll talk more about these incredible services with her tomorrow when she joins us. I need my nails done. Hey, maybe I'll just get my nails done there tomorrow. That'd be a good idea. Actually, I'm going today to do a consultation when we talk about hormone imbalance. So I'm going to transition to some things that they have an idea. Of course, I've got a blood clotting background, so they really want to take care of that. They also do IV hydration therapy. Tabitha's who I'm going to talk with today. Can't wait to tell you more about that. Suite 206, 425 North New Ballas Road in Creve Coeur. And the phone number for your own consultation and for you to schedule your appointment is 314-279-6069. 7:38. Welcome back to the Real Monica Adams Show. And I want to say again, welcome to so many of you that are tuning in, maybe for the very first time, but don't make it your last. This is what we do. We bring you really what the world needs, that hope, that positivity, the light. And we're on 3 platforms right now, Facebook, YouTube, and X. And then tomorrow, Thursday, Friday, we add Instagram and Rumble. If there's a platform that we're not on that you would like for us to be on, just let us know. Welcome back with Brian Pichelle. Again, Brian is the Director of Veteran Services with Dogs for Our Brave. So going into the break, I mentioned, Brian, let's go ahead and say this a couple times. There's an event coming up that people can go to, great food, drinks, and more importantly, helping our organization we're talking about. So tell them about that.
Yeah, so Twisted Tree Steakhouse in Sunset Hills will host their annual Sip and Savor event at Sunset Event Space November 3rd from 3 to 6 p.m. There it is up on the screen.
Imagine that.
I have most of it all memorized at this point, but you can see all the information out there. Great event. It gets bigger and better every year. We'll have numerous of our, we call them VSD teams, so our veteran service dog teams, in attendance from around the country. You can see some of them there sitting in front from last year's event. Seats are very limited. So if you are interested, I know tickets are going quick. So even though it's still a month out, if you are interested and really want to be involved, it is such a great event. You get to hear a lot of the stories. You get to interact with our veterans. You get to meet our staff. You get to see our dogs. We're actually going to have our dogs stationed this year. Our dogs in training and you're going to be able to see a lot of what they're working on and what they're capable of doing, along with obviously there's a lot of great auction items and bourbon and whatnot, but on top of that, highlighting a lot of what the organization has been doing, especially over the last year, we've experienced a tremendous amount of growth from an internal development point of view. So a lot of what we're offering our veterans and how we're trying to improve our ability to make a positive impact in their lives will all be showcased.
And again, tickets, Michelle is moderating for you today. She's dropping in information where you can get tickets for that. And we'll talk about it coming up right at the end of the show as well for you to go to that. I mentioned going into the break. Before we do that, though, I see some comments coming in. Grunt Style Foundation, who we've had on our show a couple times,
Amazing.
said, love dogs for our brave. And he said, badass Americans, right? Absolutely. And Anna, so proud of you, Brian. Anna Lance.
Yep.
Is this another family
friend.
member?
No,
like friend. Friends aren't like family, though.
Friend whose son, their oldest son, just finished boot camp with the Marine Corps. So
thank your son, please,
Yep.
Anna, for what he's doing. Dude's Playground, which is Richard Melching, he said, Brian, I'd love to spend some time talking with you. I'm sure we can help each other with our missions. Are you familiar with Dude's Playground?
vaguely.
Vaguely. We
So
do
let's make
definitely
that
need to
happen.
connect you. Yeah, let's make that happen. We do need to connect you. So let's talk about how these dogs are chosen and how long the program is for them to train.
So the majority, let me give you the mission statement first, which I haven't done that yet. So everybody's very clear about what we do. So we provide professionally trained service dogs at no cost to wounded veterans that have honorably served our country. That no cost piece is extremely important to understand.
Yes.
A lot of people ask, where, if I donate money, where do those funds go? We pay for everything. The veteran never pays a dime for the life of the dog, but really it's the life of the veteran. A veteran that is, brought into our program, specifically we focus on mobility assistance service dogs, which there's a ton of organizations out there that do amazing work with PTSD, emotional support, psychiatric service dogs. There are very few within the veteran community that are providing mobility assistance service dogs. And the need is pretty great out there. The life-changing impact that makes on a veteran that really struggles to move throughout the community, throughout their own home, we can provide a lot of relief for those types of individuals that really want to put in the work. So we pay for everything. The training, veterinary care, food, equipment. The veteran obviously has to travel into town. We pay for all their flights. We pay for their hotel. We pay for their food. When we have to go and research and do more training for them, obviously that's travel for us and our training staff. So there's a lot of cost incurred that we put in to make sure that, number one, our veterans receive the support that they deserve. Because this is a challenging mission. This is a very hard mission. It's challenged to learn how to become a service dog handler. There's a lot of work that has to go on behind the scenes there. So coming back to the actual process, so we are a small organization. Currently, we can house 10 dogs max in our facility in Dogtown. We stay away from 10 total just because it's a small space. So right now we currently have 6 dogs in the facility that are training. We have 15 dogs out in the field nationwide. We are a nationwide organization, so it doesn't matter where you live in the country. We will, there they are. Yep, Riddick, Owen, Dozer, Bravo, Hager. Look at all those beautiful
And look how happy
babies.
they look, right? They know they're doing good.
Positive reinforcement.
Yes.
It is a positive reinforcement training style. That's how our trainers interact daily. Our dogs live in the facility. They have their own condos. So yeah, our trainers, there's a ton of our training staff. They are incredible in the work that they do on a daily basis to get these dogs prepared to go out in the field and serve our veterans. So we rescue the majority of our dogs.
This is what I love.
This is, that is very much a challenge, but it's another, piece of the puzzle with who we are is, saving 2 lives at once,
Right.
Save a veteran, save a dog. So it is a tedious process, if you will. It's 1 dog out, 1 dog in. So our trainers have great relationships with a ton of the local shelters and rescues and whatnot throughout the entire metro area. And when it's time, when we get a lot of inquiries or a lot of requests from organizations like, hey, we have a dog that may be a great fit. Ultimately, it comes down to timing. We have to have the right time to be able to bring a new dog in. So there's a process that they go through as far as they go out. They'll check the dog out. They put him through a series of tests. They typically have 3 different sessions to check the dog with 3 different trainers so that everybody's getting a look at where this dog's strengths are, right? Obviously, it comes down to temperament is one of the biggest things. A service dog, especially a service dog that is going to aid a mobility-based individual, mobility needs individual, has to have an incredible temperament, right? So that's number one. On top of that, they have to have size, intelligence, right? The IQ of that. So we tend to focus on, again, with our dogs being rescued, we get a lot of, the mixes. So, but anytime we have, you can tell a lot of our dogs have a lab mix in them. That's Dragon. That's our office buddy.
Who's the kitty cat?
That's Dragon.
Who's the dog?
Dragon was the cat. So he was rescued, several years ago, and now he lives in the facility, and our trainers take care of him, and he just roams around and has a good time. So.
They look so. I mean, again, they look so happy. If you're just tuning in,
that's our retrieval process.
Brian Pichel again is our guest. He's the director of Veteran Services with Dogs for Our Brave. And Jennifer Blakely said, "Go, Brian." Shane Mayer is rocking his Dogs for Our Brave vest today. I love that. Amazing. Thank you for all you do and for your service. I was born on Veterans Day, and I support our vets. And Dude's Playground said, "I still think rescue dogs make the best service dogs." Exactly. So there are so many. Obviously, we do a show regularly for Yuppie Puppies Forever Rescue, and Jessica always talks about how all the organizations work together. Ultimately, I love the fact saving a life of the dog then saving the life of the veteran. So making those choices obviously is a difficult one. I saw the videos of the program that they go through and how long that is, and it's broken up. I saw the chalkboard of broken
5
up
phases.
Yes, all the different
months.
phases. 18 months. So what are they going through in those 18 months?
So when the dog initially is brought in, they go through a quarantine period, which is 10 days, just to get acclimated, make sure there's no behavioral issues, whatnot. They make it through that 10-day quarantine period. They then get moved into the back of the facility, and they begin their assessment phase, which is about 3 months. So that our trainers can really identify and do a lot of observation about is there any trauma in the dog, right? Is there any reactivity? Are there any red flags that we need to be aware of immediately, right? There's no such thing as a bad dog. Just some of these dogs, we don't always necessarily know their full background,
Right.
but we gain as much information as we possibly can, and our trainers do an amazing job of that to is and their personality. So after that 3-month period, they start getting into, even more training. So they get to phase 1, phase 2. There's a lot of training, basic skills training, behavioral training, whatnot, that goes into that. They have, there's a lot of testing phases that they have to go through CGC in order to, really understand, okay, is this dog going to have a chance to move forward through the program? It doesn't, a dog has to get to phase 3 before we will pair them with a veteran. And that's an adjustment that's been made over the last 1.5 years within the organization. Because, if they get to phase 3, pretty high probability that they're going to graduate the program and become a full service dog. There could be some hiccups here and there, but overall phase 3 is a safe bet. And what that does is really it protects the veteran a little bit more, that they're not being paired with the dog that, 2 months later we're like, oh, you know what?
Right.
It's, they're going to struggle in this area. This isn't the right fit. And then we have to backtrack. So, making that move of pairing them at phase 3, which we just had that occur.
You just had a graduation?
Ago. Not a graduation, but we had a pairing.
Just had a pairing.
So Bravo, the golden retriever that you saw there.
Okay, that's the one?
Has been paired with his veteran in Ohio. So that's very exciting.
Absolutely.
Joe's a guy that's actually been waiting for 4 years because they had a dog in the home. So they had to wait for their dog to pass. That's part of the stipulation. You can't have another dog in the home if you're going to receive a service dog. That's kind of industry wide. It's 2 dogs living under the same roof under different rules is very, very difficult.
Absolutely.
So, but Joe's a great American, and we couldn't be more excited to have this pairing process. It's been a long road, and it's those are the moments we call mission moments that our job is the mission itself is extremely challenging from working with the dogs, training these dogs, which, the service dog industry and really the research and understanding what they're capable of doing, like I said earlier, is there's so much, understand, there's so much more that we have to learn about what they're capable of. And we've already learned so much of what they're capable of, but this isn't their natural DNA. Like this is, but once you start to lock in with these dogs and realize what they're capable of doing and see how much they love working and doing the work, it's incredible. And knowing that they're going to carry that mentality, how that level of training and whatnot over into our veterans it's really, really incredible.
If you're just tuning in, I know a lot of you tune in every second. Dogs for Our Brave, that's the organization we're talking about, and you can go online to find out more about them. Find out more about the event that's coming up. It's dfob.org, and there's the phone number on the screen, 314-570-1689. And again, help them out so they can continue to do this. Truly, what an animal is capable of, just in a day-to-day setting. We're not even taking it to the level of the veteran. I always say, we are not worthy of them. I mean, seriously, the most unconditional love. They are just incredible. Not a bad dog, just bad owners, Dude's Playground says. Shannon Drohan says, such an amazing organization. Love that you are saving 2 lives with every match. Niall Hefner says, I love Dogs for Our Brave. My son has been blessed by Allie from Dogs for Our Brave. Oh. Thank you to the organization.
Niall, Gabe, God, love them. That's, we just spent 2 weeks up in Iowa with Gabe. That's an incredible story. Gabe is an incredible. I say kid, he's 21 years old or 20 years old. What an amazing human being, and his fight to recover. Very tragic. Was shot in the head up in Iowa. He's a St. Louis boy. He went to Kirkwood High School. It was a random, just a terrible accident, if you will. Wrong place, wrong time. He was up there visiting his grandparents before he was stationed. He had just graduated boot camp, whatnot. But watching how hard that kid has worked and being able to provide him with Allie and seeing the growth and the work that they put in, it's it reminds us. It's hard. Again, I'll keep saying it. It's a very challenging mission, but when we get to see those results, it really fills our cup to remind us just to keep pushing forward, keep doing the work.
So let me ask this, Brian. All of these connections that are made and these stories, which again, I can just see from doing a continuation with you of being able to show that. I would love for you to stay in touch with me to say, here's another pairing, here's another graduation, so we can continue to show you. And that's one of the things we didn't get a chance to do in the news of you'd hear about an organization and then you never see anything again. I'd like for you to say, let's check in. Brian, tell us what's going on. So stay in touch with me on that. But what I'd like to know is, where would it be best for us to see this? Is it online on your socials? Yes, to see these stories?
You can go to our website. We have great YouTube content. We have incredible videos, testimonials from our veterans that have received service dogs, and they tell their stories and what they've gone through. And tell you what, if you're not moved to tears after that, please check your pulse.
Absolutely.
What these veterans have dealt with and overcome, and how they utilize their resource of this service dog, right? It really is incredible and incredibly powerful. So dfob.org. You can, a lot of our YouTube videos are all linked on our website, Facebook, Instagram, X. We're on all of them. You can check those out as well. We do a lot of updates on those as well. So
I was on the website for the last 48 hours, and I was seeing a lot of people with your organization telling their own stories. And the one woman talking about someone that was very close to her that came back and took his own life and broke down in tears. The next person breaking down in tears, knowing the mission statement, knowing what you're doing, and knowing the lives that you're saving. Again, the number now up to 30 a day, 30 veterans a day, and it sounds like this is growing. We're going the wrong way, folks. New numbers, same support. Dial 988, then press 1. That's the Veterans Crisis Line. Again, we are doing what we're doing. Brian's doing what he's doing. The organizations that are around that are trying to save lives, and we can do that together. I'm going to take a quick break. Again, A couple more things before we wrap up. One of the things that I want to know is, and think about this for just a second, Brian, when you are doing the pairings and you are following along and you're checking in on these veterans, what are you hearing most that those animals are doing for them? What feedback are you getting from them? We want to hear that straight from Brian, and then we're going to tell you about the event, again, that you can get to at Twisted Tree, how you can purchase tickets, all that coming up before we wrap up The Real Monica Adams Show.
Monica show. It's very informational, but more importantly, inspirational.
People such as myself and others can come out and talk about real issues that are taking place in our communities.
These are amazing, really, really important topics that don't get discussed enough.
It really just promotes people who are making change and doing good in their lives.
And welcome back. I just mentioned when we did the forecast at the top of the show that it still feels like pool time season. And a lot of you have already closed it. My husband closed ours just a few days ago. I almost want to open it back up, peek in it, and jump in underneath the cover because it's going to be beautiful still. We're talking 80s that are coming back over the next couple of days. But yes, it's those lows that create the problem with the colder water unless you have a heater. There's a lot of things that you can dream up and then they can build it for you. So you do the dream and let Just Pools, the pool and spa specialist, build it. You might have the water feature you want, those rock features. That's the thing that people like to say, well, I've got one in my backyard. Can you add to it? They absolutely can, or they can build a brand new one. So if you've been thinking about it, why don't you go in and just have a little consultation with them and say, here's what our yard looks like. Can you do an in-ground? Can you do an above-ground? What's the best space for it? And then it's the transition of that, getting into the spa season. So Just Pools are the pool and spa specialists. They got a couple things going on for you right now. 10% off the winterizing kits if you haven't closed them yet. And 50% off of all those fun toys. You just saw the noodles, the loungers, all those things. But again, it is while they last. Look at those beautiful spas, right? It's the therapeutic side. You deserve it. You know you do. Just Pools, the pool and spa specialist. Now their location is 3987 West Outer Road South. That's in Arnold. 636-464-7110. And tell Madonna and the staff that we said hi. 7:58, welcome back. If you have missed this show, you've got to go back and listen. So stay with us on the next 5-10 minutes and then go back and watch all of it. We'll also be turning this in to one of our audio podcasts. Remember, those drop on Thursday mornings at 8 a.m. Brian Pichelle has been my guest, the Director of Veteran Services from Dogs for Our Brave. And before we have your answer to the question I asked going into the break, Paula White said, thank you for serving our veterans with such a tremendous gift of life, Brian. You know you are tops with us. That's Jeff and Paula White, by the way. And then Carol Sheehan said, incredibly blessed to work alongside Brian, serving our veterans. I went into the break and said, with you being with them for the last year, but the organization itself being around for 10 years, what have you heard from the veterans of how their lives have changed when these animals get paired with them?
The word purpose. This is going to be a tough one to get through because I hear, I hear a lot from the staff is laughing right now because they all know that I'm a crier a bit.
That's not to laugh. I want you to show that emotion.
Year,
That's
but,
real.
Ultimately, what these dogs can provide is that sense of purpose again, that so many veterans lose when they get out of the military, but especially those that are dealing with significant injuries that have really impacted their ability to move freely, that ultimately just kind of shut down, don't really want to leave the house. Talk to, the individuals that, have suffered limb loss or extreme injury to the body that makes it very, very difficult for them to move freely. So what do? They hole up at home. They don't want to go out. They really don't want to interact with people for fear of whatever, just that level of anxiety, which obviously we know just goes down a whole rabbit hole. So the dog provides that sense of support and that relationship is the most important piece. There are incredible skills that we could talk about, what our dogs are capable of doing, and the retrieval and the ability to pick things up and pull and support our veterans, especially ones that struggle to move. But really it comes down to the relationship that they build with that dog. It's that daily sense of discipline that they have to rediscover in order to care for the dog properly. And that's something that, we really challenge our veterans that come into the organization with. I'm pretty particular with veterans that come into the organization, number one, because of what we invest in these dogs, not only time and resource wise, right? And that's just the community. That's not the organization. It's not just the organization. It's those donors, whatnot, the trainers. I have to ensure that veterans that we're bringing in the organization are 100% committed, or at least committed to the process of finding a way to heal mind, body, spirit within themselves. And we're going to be a part of that process with them. And it's hard. But seeing the veterans that have gone through our program and seeing the daily purpose that these dogs have brought into their life and how they've completely flipped the script, and they are now out and thriving and doing well and engaging in activities and, playing ice hockey and just, you see these individuals and it's like, wow, that's what an incredible opportunity to impact positive change.
You've given their life back.
And they've given themselves their lives back. Mm-hmm. And that's, they talk a lot about, I hear it like, we can't thank the organization enough, but what can we do to help? Which, of course, we love, and obviously we love their support and whatnot. But at the same time, it's like the only thing you owe us is to go back out and just live your life to the best of your ability, and become that that perspective and that positive, for people to look to and be like, okay, I can look at what they're doing, right? Mm-hmm. And there are so many great individuals out there and organizations out there that are spreading this same message within the veteran community. And that's, grunt style commenting, whatnot. Mm-hmm. That relationship, right? If we're going to win this battle, just like when we go into combat, right? We need all parts. We need infantry, we need air support, we need medics, we need cooks, yada, yada, yada. The list goes on. It's the same thing for the fight back here. No one entity, no one organization is going to win this battle. It takes all of us to create this type of positive change within the veteran community.
We've got a lot of comments coming in, but before I get to those, do you need any trainers? Do you need any volunteers?
Volunteers are always a huge part of us of the organization because they take a lot of stress off the staff. Mm-hmm. Again, we are small, but we are mighty. But when we bring the volunteers in and they're able to assist in the facility from cleanup, or if they get involved with local events, right? From the volunteer point of view, you talk about time, talent, treasure. What can you provide us? Any of those areas is greatly appreciated. If you go to the website, again, dfob.org, there is a volunteer form on there that you can submit, and then we'll get back to you. But that's, we need all of those things in order to keep pushing this mission forward.
And Dogs for Our Brave said your raw emotion is one of the many things we love about you, Brian. So they're not laughing. We're all along with you. How can you not be moved to tears? And as Brian said earlier, if you watch these videos and you are not, you better check your pulse. There's something wrong with you. Dude's Playground. The dude gives me a reason to wake up. Enough said. Yes. April Sauter is watching and proud to work alongside Brian. And Ryan says, what a great organization. Please donate to Dogs for Our Brave. Yes. Just a raw donation, or as we mentioned before, let's go ahead and drop this in again. Tell them when the Sip and Savor event is.
Sip and Savor, November 3rd, Sunset Event Space, hosted by Twisted Tree. You can purchase tickets right there. Check them out. Email tracy@cybergs.com. In person at Twisted Tree Steakhouse. I've heard they've got some pretty good food there, so you might want to go check that out. Shout out to head chef Tyler. Yes. And then, or you can purchase online via credit card by filling out the form on the website.
Okay, perfect. And again, 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. on Sunday, November 3rd, located again on Watson Road. If you've never been there, as Brian just said, truly beautiful. Incredible food.
Yes.
So, Brian, at the end of every show, we do 100 Days to Freedom because we are just trying to help, as we've been mentioning, everyone find their way to be that balance that they need in mind, in body, in spirit, and soul. So 100 Days to Freedom, I'm going to let you choose, and sometimes God assists us on this. from shame, depression, anger, or fear and anxiety. Fear and anxiety go together. Again, these are books from Stephen Arterburn. That's the way we end our show with devotionals. Which one are you feeling that fits our audience today?
Fear and anxiety.
All right. It will be fear and anxiety that we're breaking you from. 100 days to freedom from that when we return. He wants to say, I can't believe I took your son's life. I don't know what I was thinking. I have so much regret and remorse. I've changed my life. Would you accept that apology?
I've never thought of that. Yeah, I would.
Do you think, because you talk about forgiveness, do you think that you all can ever forgive one another and come back together?
It wasn't just right. I'm not perfect. I'm, just because my name is Bush, I don't have it all figured out. And I think they know that too.
I was cyclically depressed, so I could be the happiest person you ever met at 11 a.m. I could be on cloud 9, and by 7 p.m. that evening, I'd be sitting on a couch with a gun in my hand and thinking hard not to get emotional. I
never feel sorry for being emotional.
I really, I was at a space to where I couldn't believe that I had brought my children into this.
Where's the light? Because many of you probably feel that there's this darkness and there's this thunder cloud that's constantly over you. This family has dealt with so much.
So our journey is our journey. There has to be purpose in this pain. There has to be something more powerful. I have to find something to be blessed about every day. I have to count my blessings and have gratitude every single day.
And welcome back. What a powerful show it's been again. Brian was sitting there and he looked over and was like, hey, the Stoned Apes. You were on their podcast?
I was on the Stoned Apes podcast.
2.5 hours?
Roughly. Yeah, that was, I think, the first podcast episode I did after taking this job. So it was eye-opening, but
we love that.
Really tapped into, it was just, we tapped into some pretty deep, as not shocking, right? Within the Stoned Ape podcast, that's what that's, and Rev just,
yes,
we had a great conversation.
If you don't know about them, please follow them. I'd love to have them back on the show. That was one of the most moving, raw interviews that has been done on this show, but it really just catapulted so many people watching to say, all right, when I come on the show or when people just talk with me, I'm going to open up. I'm not going to hold these emotions anymore. And that's what we want. That's how we save lives. Brian, I want to thank you again for coming on. I love what you and your team are doing, and I'm hoping that all of you can help out, whether it's going to that event, whether it's donating. Again, dfob.org, and thank Michelle for all that she's been doing in this last hour, dropping in information for you. So Brian chose, and he said, how can we not with what we're dealing with in the world? 100 Days to Freedom from Fear and Anxiety, these daily devotionals from Stephen Arterburn. And this one says, perfect peace. It's day 45. You will keep in perfect peace all who trust in you, all whose thoughts are fixed on you. This is actually Isaiah 26, verse 3. Perfectionism is a state of mind that is constantly in motion, always trying to find the perfect in every situation. Initially that doesn't sound like a bad thing. We want to do our best in everything, and so we seek to improve whatever we can. Sometimes, though, this goal becomes the focus of our thoughts, and as we chase after the elusive perfect, we're not at peace because something always needs to be improved. The passage above claims that God will give perfect peace to all who trust him. Philippians 4, verse 7 speaks of peace that exceeds anything we can understand. That's the type of peace God promises to you as you fix your thoughts on God. So what does it mean to fix your thoughts? It means that in every situation you are seeking God's way, not what the world describes as perfect, which falls far short of God's standard, or what you and your own thoughts decide is perfect. In times when you're unsure of what is best, begin to ask God. Trust in his timing and his way, and you will begin to experience perfect peace. Warren Wiersbe said, real contentment must come from within. You and I cannot change or control the world around us, but we can change and control the world within us. A.W. Tozer said, the labor of self-love is a heavy one indeed. Think whether much of your sorrow has not arisen from someone speaking slightly of you, as long as you set yourself up as a little God to what you must be loyal. There will be those who will delight to offer affront to your idol. How then can you hope to have inward peace? And Amy Carmichael says, blessed are the single-hearted, for they shall enjoy much peace. If you refuse to be hurried and pressed, if you stay your soul on God, nothing can keep you from that clearness of spirit, which is life and peace. In that stillness, you know what his will is. So here's today's prayer. Lord, fill me with your peace. Help me to know your way for my life. Help me rest in you alone and experience your perfect peace. Amen. Trying to find our way to that peace that Brian and I have been talking about, that stillness, the calmness. But many times, and I think he could agree to this, a veteran, they don't want to sit with their thoughts. It's what scares them. It's where the animals come into play. It's where they're needed.
It's one of the hardest things we have to deal with, is working through our thoughts.
There it is, and there's where you help out. We want to help someone that has become a big part of our community, who, by the way, deals with a lot of animals. I don't know if you know this, but Randy Grimm is in ICU right now. I was talking deeply last night with his staff. We were going to try to talk with him live, but obviously he's in ICU, so it's hard. But there was a video made that I want you to watch, and if you are type O negative, he needs your help.
Hey guys, hey, I'm usually pretty private about stuff like this. Here's what's wrong. I have internal bleeding in, I've had 12 blood transfusions. I lose all my blood and then I bottom out. And then I get more blood. Hey, I'm O negative. Oh my God, that hurt. I'm O negative. So it's a rare blood type. Plus, because I get so many transfusions, I have some antibodies in my blood. So then it's always a little hard for them to find my blood. So all you O negative folks out there, no matter where you are, you should donate your blood, because we're the universal blood donor. Everyone can take our blood. And if you're O negative, you can only have O negative blood. So O negative folks, give the gift of blood. It's keeping me alive right now. And I want to go home. I want to go home so bad. I'm messing my head on both.
Folks, he is an incredible human being that has done so much for those animals. We're talking about the healing effect of an animal, and he just wants to get back to him. So what he's asking, he's had so many blood transfusions, and he needs more. They cannot figure out why he continues to bleed, but he just wants to get back because there's no one that connects. You know, you've heard and you've seen the book that's been done on him, the movies, what he's been involved with, The Man Who Talks to Animals, and that connection. If you haven't seen it, by the way, we did a really beautiful piece with him that I'm so proud that my team did. Randy's Rescue Ranch. You know him from Stray Rescue for so many years. I just cannot believe what that man has been through. So please open your hearts, your minds to doing the one thing that we can do. Yet another thing about saving lives, as he just said, is to donate your blood, especially if you are O negative, which I understand is about 7% of the population. American Red Cross Blood Drive. So if you can help out, please do so. Let's continue to help. We've got so many ways to help today. Our veterans, those animals, Randy. You know, a lot of this comes back to trying to find that calmness and that peace. We've got a couple things that I want to talk about before we wrap up. One of those is that today is the last day for tickets to be sold for a rescue that we have been mentioning. Yuppie Puppies Forever Rescue. They have their gala coming up on October 19th. We are thrilled to be a part of this. It is a whole new world with you. The gala, again, will be at Whitmore Country Club, and today's the final day. Obviously, they've got to get everything together to do the seating arrangements, pull everything together, because it's not an easy feat to be able to do a gala like this. It's coming up, not this weekend, but the following weekend on October 19th, opening up at 5:30 with cocktail hour, and then dinner, silent auction, live auction, so much to be done. Steve Ewing from Steve's Hot Dogs from The Urge, he will be performing that night. I actually reached out to him last night and asked if he wanted to come on before the event, so hopefully Steve will be able to do so. It's going to be a blast, and I'm thrilled to have been asked to MC and do the auctioneering. So yes, let's raise some big money for them. And then this Thursday, we need to find this for our whole world. I'd love to see as many of you as possible come support those that support us. Yenology, that is where we'll be at noon on Thursday for a live show. If you've never been there, take a look at this. So thank you to Tia Tricamo, by the way, for putting that together. Maybe you've been seeing that on our social pages. In the studio, Brian walked in and said, oh, it smells good in here. It feels comfortable in here. Well, that smell is their signature, by the way. It's Feel the Wave. We also have Feel the Myrrh that we're going to transition to as we get into the holiday season. Whatever you need to find that way to calmness and peace, you're going to find it right there. Yenology, help those who long for comfort and peace in their life. 903 South Lindbergh. People have been asking me where in Frontenac. That's where it is. It's Suite 110, 903 South Lindbergh. Make your way there. Even if you're on lunch and you can come by, look, they're dog friendly, by the way. Bring those babies. This is how we're going to complete it, to bring it home. They bring us to that state that we all are needing in our lives. Can't wait to hug on my babies. Brian said he has 4. I have 3, and I can't wait to see them. And I'm going to give them a bigger hug today than I probably ever have, because, again, they need to be thanked for the incredible work that they do here on Earth. And I have to thank you as well. Thank you to all the new people that signed in today. And share now. That's what your goal is, to share with as many people as you can to let them know about this great organization, Dogs for Our Brave. Again, check them out at dfob.org, and let's just bring that calmness that is needed, that healing, really, that is needed for our veterans, for our animals, helping out Randy, helping out our dogs with the Yuppie Puppies Forever Rescue. And again, I can't wait to see you hopefully on Thursday. Tomorrow, by the way, Jennifer Warman-Bloss joins us from Elemental Aesthetics. Can't wait to see the services that she has to provide to take care of you, mind, body, and soul. Thank you all so very much. I hope you have an incredible day. Get out, by the way. Enjoy that vitamin D. It's going to be a gorgeous one. Smile, breathe, find some sense of calmness and clarity. And remember, the greatest thing you can do is to be kind. God bless you.